Something is starting to go very wrong across the tech industry right now. Companies have been rushing AI systems, automation tools, and aggressive software changes into products at full speed for the past year. And now we're finally starting to see the consequences. And honestly, I think this is probably just the beginning. Before we get into this, if you enjoy tech videos that go beyond boring headlines and actually explain what's happening behind these stories, subscribe to Tech Reporter. We cover hidden tech changes, Windows updates, AI drama, and internet chaos before it blows up everywhere else. Microsoft has officially confirmed that users will soon be able to disable the floating Copilot button inside Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, which is honestly a pretty fast reversal considering how aggressively this feature was pushed just weeks ago. Because this wasn't some tiny optional AI shortcut buried inside a settings menu. The button literally floated on top of documents while people were trying to work. And for some users, it even covered spreadsheets, text, and parts of the actual workspace. And almost immediately, people got frustrated. Not because users necessarily hate AI, but because people really hate software interrupting workflows they've used for years, especially when it feels forced. And honestly, this situation says something much bigger about where the tech industry is heading right now. Companies are no longer slowly introducing AI features anymore. They're injecting them directly into products first, and dealing with backlash later. And what makes this even stranger is that Microsoft apparently still considers the rollout successful because Copilot engagement increased after the feature launched. Which means, from Microsoft's perspective, annoying users may still be considered a win if it increases AI adoption. That's a pretty uncomfortable direction. But while Microsoft is dealing with backlash over AI features, GitHub may be dealing with a problem that's much harder to reverse. GitHub has reportedly suffered a serious internal breach after an employee installed a malicious VS Code extension. And honestly, the scary part is how unbelievably normal that sounds. And the scary part is, this all started with a single extension. That's all it took. According to reports, attackers may have gained access to thousands of internal repositories. Now thankfully, GitHub says customer projects don't appear to be affected. But the bigger concern is the type of attack this reportedly was. Because the group behind it specializes in supply chain compromises, which are becoming one of the biggest cybersecurity nightmares on the internet right now. Instead of attacking users directly, attackers compromise trusted systems developers already rely on every day. And from there, vulnerabilities can quietly spread outward without anyone noticing immediately. Which is why situations like this make security researchers very nervous. And the really uncomfortable part is that GitHub reportedly still doesn't fully know how long attackers had internal access. Meaning the true impact of this situation may not fully appear for weeks, or even months. But somehow, today's most urgent warning might actually involve Nvidia. Nvidia is now urging users to update drivers immediately after patching multiple serious security vulnerabilities affecting gaming GPUs, workstation hardware, cloud systems, and enterprise products. Basically, if you own an Nvidia graphics card, this probably affects you. But what makes this story interesting is how much modern PCs have changed. Most people still think GPU drivers are mainly about gaming performance. But modern graphics drivers now interact with AI tools, browsers, cloud systems, streaming platforms, operating system functions, and productivity software all at the same time, which means vulnerabilities inside them can potentially become much more dangerous than people realize. And honestly, this is becoming a pattern across the tech industry. Invisible systems most users never think about are quietly becoming some of the biggest security risks, which is why companies are suddenly pushing updates much more aggressively than before. But speaking of aggressive software systems, Riot apparently decided normal anti-cheat bans weren't enough anymore. Riot's Vanguard anti-cheat system is now reportedly capable of disabling certain hardware devices used by cheaters. And things escalated after Riot publicly mocked one affected player online by congratulating them on their new $6,000 paperweight. Now to be clear, Riot later clarified that entire PCs are not being bricked, only specific cheating hardware. But still, imagine spending thousands of dollars building a setup specifically designed to bypass anti-cheat systems, only for the anti-cheat itself to completely destroy the value of the hardware. And honestly, this shows how much the war between cheat developers and anti-cheat companies is escalating, because companies are no longer just banning accounts anymore. They're targeting hardware, spoofing systems, firmware tools, and entire cheating ecosystems, which means anti-cheat software is starting to behave less like moderation systems and more like cybersecurity operations. But while Riot is fighting cheaters, Discord quietly made a privacy change most users probably missed. Discord has now officially enabled end-to-end encryption for voice and video calls by default for all users, which is actually a pretty major privacy upgrade. But there's still one important catch. Text messages remain unencrypted, and according to Discord, too many platform systems currently depend on message access, which honestly highlights one of the biggest problems modern tech platforms are running into right now. Because companies simultaneously want AI moderation, recommendation systems, cloud syncing, smart features, personalization, and privacy. But eventually those goals start conflicting with each other. True privacy becomes much harder once platforms are deeply integrated with AI analysis and automated systems. And speaking of AI getting deeply integrated into everything, Spotify just entered very strange territory. Spotify and Universal Music Group have reportedly signed a deal allowing premium users to create AI-generated remixes and covers using licensed music, which means AI-generated songs are rapidly moving from internet experiment to mainstream product. Artists can reportedly opt in and receive revenue shares when their music gets used. So unlike earlier AI systems that trained on songs without permission, this is trying to commercialize AI music legally. But honestly, this raises a much bigger question. What happens once AI-generated content becomes cheaper, faster, endlessly customizable, and instantly generated? Because at that point, entire creative industries start changing, and whether people like it or not, it really feels like the tech industry has already decided this future is coming. But somehow, the wildest AI story today might actually involve pizza. One of Pizza Hut's largest franchise operators is reportedly suing over a mandatory AI delivery system that allegedly caused massive operational problems and damaged customer relationships. And the claimed damages are over $100 million, which is insane. According to the lawsuit, the AI system allegedly created delivery inefficiencies so severe that delivery times nearly doubled in some situations. And honestly, this story matters for a much bigger reason than pizza deliveries. Because right now, companies everywhere are rushing AI systems into real-world operations as fast as possible. They're integrating AI into customer service, scheduling, logistics, automation, recommendations, and pretty much every operational system they can. And in many cases, these systems are being deployed before businesses fully understand how they behave at scale, which means situations like this may become increasingly common over the next few years. Because AI is no longer just generating images or helping people write emails anymore. It's starting to directly affect real businesses, real operations, customer experiences, jobs, and huge amounts of money. And honestly, I still think we're only seeing the beginning of where this goes. So today's tech news somehow included AI backlash, security concerns, aggressive anti-cheat systems, encrypted platforms, AI-generated music, and an AI pizza disaster worth over $100 million. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Tech Reporter for more fast-paced tech news, hidden updates, AI changes, Windows features, and internet chaos explained without the boring corporate nonsense. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.